Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a good week. So tonight we have a very lovely guest coming on. Her name is Sarah Foley. She is a writer, a life elevation coach, and she runs the Disability Fitness, Icon Fitness. She is also a fellow Badass Do-Gooder member with me, and I cannot wait for her to come on and share her story and basically just tell everyone what inspires her to inspire others. She goes by Vertical Blonde, so please go follow her on Instagram. And then once Sarah comes on, she'll request to join in and we will get started. Hi, Hannah. We are just waiting for Sarah to come on. And here she is. Okay, Sarah is joining any second. Hi.
Hey, girl.
Hello. Long time no talk.
Long time no see.
I know. How's it going?
So good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on with me. Hi, Alexa.
Hello, ladies.
Hi, Zeke.
Hi, Zeke.
Hello.
Woohoo!
Zeke did say she was going to come on. Hi, Keith. What'd you do today?
What did I do today? I've been working on my revision workshop. I've got my last week of it. I'm actually really sad that it's coming to an end, but I feel like it's just the beginning. And so I'm putting together my playlist. I'm so inspired by music, and music has been a really rich part of my own journey. And so I really like to make it like a soundtrack to each of my workshops.
Very cool.
I have so much fun putting that together. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How is the workshop going?
The workshop has been amazing. We have almost 200 women in the Facebook group. And each week we've got a really substantial group that come on live. So just to kind of back up a little bit for anyone that doesn't know, I have really found so much sense of peace and fulfillment by going through what I call a revisioning process every time something doesn't go to plan. And 2020 did not go to plan. 2020 was like beyond our plans. Like,
yes.
No one
expected it. Nope.
Right. And no. I think that so many people had such a hard time that it took me back to like my early days of getting injured. I was injured 8 years ago on a four-wheeler and am a full-time wheelchair user. I'm paralyzed from the waist down, and I went through this process that took me 8 years to get through. And so I really want to like shave, 7 years and 360 days off of people's ability to get to the other side of when tragedy strikes and when challenges arise and when struggle happens and things don't go our way. And like, it's so important that we are really intentional when that comes up and that we're really prepared. Yes. And so I now, anytime struggle comes up, I feel really prepared because I'm like, oh, I've been through this. Like, I know what to do. I know how to get to the other side of this. I know how to feel beauty and joy again because I go through this process. But a lot of us haven't experienced like major trauma like 2020 was. And 2020 was a big trauma. It was like a capital T trauma for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was.
And so much loss and so much like sense of failure and so much, just all of it wrapped into one.
And affect their mental states. A lot of people.
Exactly.
Depression,
the mental health.
Anxiety.
Oh, it's through the roof. People are just really, really struggling. And so I felt really, really called to do this workshop, and I actually felt really so called that I ended up offering it totally free. And it was a whole 3-week journey. And step 1 is all about this healing and letting go. And we did some really fun things. We did emotional enemas, which is amazing. Like when you literally like crap out everything that's going on inside your brain onto paper. It is so cleansing.
Wow.
So we did emotional enemas. They were life-changing. And then we went through a beautiful meditation in which we came to believe that the things we lost were actually our decision all along to let go. Yeah. And it took people's breath away. And so when you reframe it, like when you redefine a defining moment in a way that it was your choice, like if something not disturbed, sorry about that, so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
But when we reframe it and we say, like, if something's being taken from us, it's a much different experience in your body than you're handing something over. So that's what we do. We reframe it in our bodies. And that is all week 1. It's like healing, letting go. It's gorgeous. And then week 2 is all about the acceptance and the pivot. And this is the point that people don't get to in a grieving process. They get really stuck on like blaming and like heartache and like shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. So if you can reframe it in this way of like, I'm going to accept and I'm going to pivot, like the true, I believe, the true way to happiness is finding happiness in everything. And happiness is only present when there's acceptance. It's only happening.
Very true.
When you're resisting what was or how something's supposed to go, you're not in a place of acceptance, you're not in a place of gratitude, you're definitely not happy.
Absolutely.
So we accept, we pivot, and then tomorrow is like the juice. This is where we embrace and we elevate. Like we actually use this seemingly disabling circumstance to our advantage. And we realize like, oh, this is happening for me. Like this is my gift. This is amazing. It's not happening to
you, it's happening for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do love that saying a lot.
It's so good, right?
With that until I've been through a lot, and I recently saw that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and I was like, wow, like it made me see everything in a different way.
It completely shifts your perspective. Absolutely.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. So I realized I went on like this whole tangent right in the beginning. We like jumped right into
I love it. Jumped right in. Wow. Welcome everyone who just joined. I don't know really too many people who join. I don't know them, but thank you for joining. Keith said just shared with some people. People need to hear this inspiration. Thank you, Keith. Yes, they do.
Awesome. Great turnout.
Keith is a fellow adoptee, and he was on as my guest, and he's been a big supporter. So I'm always glad to see him on. Yeah. So when we were talking, you said you write blogs.
Yeah, so it all started kind of in a way to keep friends and family abreast of what I was up to. I made a move to Maui about 3 years ago. And so I wanted to like keep friends and family, like this is what I'm up to. And it blossomed from there. And so I started a blog called Vertical Blonde. And this became my vertical journey of just rising above.
Can you explain why you called it Vertical Blonde?
Yes, I love this question. So blonde is kind of self-explanatory. I've always been known for blonde hair. But the vertical part is I was trying to come up with a name for the blog, and I kept going back to like wheels, like just play off the wheels, like the wheelie good life and all these kind of things. And then I realized like our words have power.
Yes.
And if I have, at this point when I'm trying to come up with a name, I'm really, really committed to this desire and this belief that I'll walk again. And the way that like cures, technology, medicine, everything's going, I know there will be a cure for spinal cord injury within my lifetime. And if I want to be ready for that, I need to stop associating myself with wheels. Like, I got to start associating myself with walking, with running, with dancing, with standing, with like all of these good things. And I think I ended up like, I was taking all these polls on Facebook, like, what do you guys think of this name and that name? And I thought like vertical ambition, but that was taken. And I just loved the word vertical. Yeah, isn't that one good too?
Yeah.
That was like a climbing group or something. But I loved the word vertical. And there was something gritty about it for me. There was something overcoming. There was also something a little sexy. Like, I just really, really came to love this word vertical.
Well, you are sexy, so it's perfect.
Ah, you're so cute. So I called Vertical Blonde, and it was fascinating because what started as this creative, a cutesy name became an identity. It became this like sense of who I really was. And I was this overcomer. Like, I was this one who was like reaching for more and like climbing my way to the top. And like something kind of started to take over me, and this vertical mindset took shape, and it took on like this beautiful life of its own. And so, so that's what I love to teach. I love to elevate people's lives simply through their mindset, through having a vertical mindset that life's happening for us, right? If we think that, then everything that happens in our lives is elevating us to another level.
It's leading us to where we want to be or where we should be.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you mentioned elevation, so you're also a life elevation coach.
Yes. So it's funny because I've been like playing around, like, what in the world do I even call myself? Like, what is this? And I do love that word elevation as well. It's elevation to me means celebration. It means raising to the next level. And it's empowering people to do that for themselves. Right. You know, it's one thing for me to say, you can do it. It's another thing when they say, I can do it.
Right. Yep.
Totally.
Absolutely. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So that's been really fun. I started this program called Disability Icon Fitness.
Right. That's what I was about to ask you.
So the fitness, through my own journey, at the same time, I was also going through a very, very visible physical transformation. I finally hired a trainer. I was like, no more. I really wanted to start loving this body. This body had changed drastically. I was now sitting all the time. You get what's called a parabelly, a wheelchair tummy, because you don't have those muscles holding you up. And so you start to kind of, your posture changes, and you have this like pouch, and it looks like you're about 6 months pregnant. And it's very common. Men and women with spinal cord injuries have it. A lot of them do anyways, because you start to become reliant on the wheelchair, start to succumb to gravity. You don't have the same muscles. And I just, I'd been doing all this physical therapy, and I was like, I just want to like feel good in a bikini again. Like, I'm over it. Like, there's something that you're just like, I just kind of want to like feel good about who I see in the mirror. And so what started as sort of this like quest for vanity also really shifted how I saw myself. And it was because what I love about fitness is that there's like no faking it. Like, you see your results.
Yeah, and you have to put a lot of effort into it.
You got to put the effort. Yeah. Like, you got to have the self-discipline. Like, you get to see it. Whereas, like, your mental fitness, you don't always see. You can't have, like, a before and after picture. Exactly. So it was great because I had this drastic change. And then I got flooded with women who were also wheelchair users saying, like, show me all the things. Like, how did you do it? What did you do? Wow. And so my trainer, Jake Havron, and I, we started a program called Disability Icon Fitness. And it's the name of that, you can tell I get really attached to like what things are called and the meanings. But my favorite quote very favorite quote of all time is Marion Wright Edelman. And she said, we can't be what we can't see. And those within the disability community, they don't see a lot of successful, attractive, like fit, happy people with disabilities. You don't see it a lot. Even in the mainstream media, it's always like the sick friend that like gets, you know, gets the sob story or whatever. And you see it a lot in just, if you, any of my experiences have only been with people that didn't really love their life. Yeah. And so I tell the girls in the program, like, you're now the new icons for what disability looks like. You're everything opposite than the stereotypes. You're fit, you're fulfilled, you're happy, you're chasing your dreams, you're confident. Like, that's an icon, right? Yeah. That's someone that we look up to. Yeah. Own it. Yeah. So that's been really cool.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And you said how many years have you been doing that?
So that's like 3 years now. Wow. And it's had its own evolution. And it's going through yet another transformation in itself as well. And so the beginning of next year, it's going to be a lot more streamed kind of membership style, where you can have all these workouts, you know, all from the seated position. I do every workout. I give a tutorial video, and you have like your whole workout set up. We'll be doing some live workouts together. Nice. And then what I'm really, really passionate about, like this is like what like wakes me up in the middle of the night, like so excited. And it's teaching the confidence required for an icon. Like, for someone to do something that's never been done, that requires a lot of confidence.
Yes.
In like the voice from within versus the story that's being told up in your head. Yes. And so I'm calling it iConfidence. And
I did see that on a post, and I was so like, wow, I love that name.
Isn't that great? There I go, being attached to like the name again.
You should be, because they're so meaningful to you.
They're so meaningful. Yeah. I feel like they're like children.
It's part of you. Of course you should be attached.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know, it was great because I was talking to my my therapist, who's kind of like my sounding board for all of my ideas. And you know, I was like, this isn't about teaching people to just like look pretty. It's not about just like putting on some makeup and calling it a day.
It's not the
no, it's like it's internal.
Yep.
You know, like I feel like there's like two places that you hear yourself think, right? There's up here, and it's like constant chatter. Usually it's really judgmental. Usually it's really critical.
The self-bullying.
Usually it really finds all the problems instead of solutions. Like it's kind of in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's another voice, and it's like in your gut. You hear it from a different place. And that is what I want to help people trust in. Actually, when I was thinking of just this idea of confidence, I was like, what does that mean? What is the definition of confidence? And it means to trust in. So self-confidence is just our ability to trust in ourselves, trust in our abilities, trust in our voice, trust in our sense of purpose, trust why we're here, trust that we'll be loved, that we'll be safe, all these things. Yeah. And so if we can get people to listen to a different part of their body, the body that knows, the body that has the answers that usually we're looking for, even though up here logically they don't make sense,
right? But
internally you know that they're right.
Yeah.
You know, it's the voice from within that logic is like blame, 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 blame. Yet the voice is like, what am I supposed to do? And that voice will say, love them, say hello, say goodbye, say I love you, say it's over, say I resign, say I'm starting. Like, that's the voice that I want people to get to know. Yeah. And that's the voice that we're going to build that confidence from within to listen to and to take action on.
I love that. And you know what a lot of people say is always trust your gut.
Yeah. There's a reason for that saying, man.
I used to always think of like three voices. You have your head, your heart, and then your gut. And then when they're
Totally.
all telling you three different things, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But I don't know. I used to go a lot with my head because I used to do that whole self-bullying, self-shaming myself growing up. And I would, and as you're talking, I'm like, where was Sarah like growing up for me? Because I needed you, like literally by my side.
I needed me.
Yeah.
I needed me too.
I was like, I needed this woman right like by my side that whole time. But yeah, I used to have like the voice in here telling me I wasn't good enough and telling me like all these horrible things to myself. And then like I didn't really listen to my heart at all. And that's the problem. And I didn't listen to my gut.
Yeah.
I just listened to my mind all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And no matter what people told me, like, of course it's easier to give someone advice and say, you're beautiful, you're wonderful. Like, you can encourage people, but, if they don't feel that for themselves or say it to themselves, then it's just, I could easily say it to somebody else, but I could never take the advice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
It's always easier when we get it from someone else. It's always, it is fascinating. It's fascinating that we aren't more of our own biggest cheerleaders. We are
our own worst critic.
Critics. Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. We had some people come on a little later.
I know. I saw my mom jump on.
Oh,
I saw Rolling Rainbow. What's up, girl? Rolling Rainbow and I competed for Miss Wheelchair America together.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That is awesome. We had Indie Late Discovery. Wanted to say quick hi. Can't stay. Well, thank you for coming. Hi, Wendy, if you're still on. Yes, heighten that voice. Keith said that.
I know. Don't wish we could like put a microphone down there, like,
and
loud and clear, baby, loud and clear.
Right?
Pump up the volume.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that, it takes time. It's not an overnight thing, and confidence is a skill just like knitting is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't knit at all. I don't know where that one came from.
I don't either, but I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, but and I think that even a lot of people that were super confident before 2020 have lost some of that. The things that they trusted in or were kind of their strengths are no longer applicable anymore. And so it's so important that we're building up that confidence from within so that if anything comes in and sort of wipes out the bank account, we know that we're going to be okay. Like the confidence is still there and we're still working at it even when things are really uncertain. And, the only thing in life that's certain is us, that will be who we are. And so why not create that certainty from within so that when things don't go our way out in the outside world, you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If that's the detour that life's taken me on, awesome. Because I know that I have the ability, the strength, the know-how, the judgment, all of the right things to get me out of it, or that I'll be able to see this through a lens of what is this teaching me? Yeah. And so I constantly am asking myself two questions. And when things aren't going right, or when they are going right, like I'm constantly asking, like, what is this offering me? Like, what am I gaining right now? What am I gaining? And the worst of the worst experiences are where we gain the most. So when you frame it in a different question, you're like, oh, like instead of what am I losing? It's what is this offering me?
I like that.
And then I'm always asking, as just kind of like my compass is this nourishing me? And I'm constantly saying, like, is this nourishing me? Like, is what I'm eating, is what I'm doing, are the people, are, what I'm spending my time on, like all of that, is it nourishing me? And if it's not, one, don't beat myself up over it. Sometimes, like, we don't feel like being nourished right now. Sometimes we just kind of want to, like, veg out and chill and, like, just kind of, like, turn the brain off.
Exactly.
And that's okay, too. And sometimes that's nourishment in itself. Because if our brains are going too much or whatever, like, we kind of need that reset and just turn it off. So,
and people think that's like being lazy. It's just, no, I call it resting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need time to rest and regroup and refresh. And
Totally.
Yeah, because there are days
Totally.
like I'm just like sitting around, like, you know, most of the time I'm like upbeat and perky and positive and, you know, but there's like days where I'm just like blah and I'm like, you know what? And that's the whole part of, I guess, the acceptance is I'm just accepting that today is just not, is going to be one of those days, and that's
Hmm.
okay. If I want to
Totally.
be lazy today or lazy, I'm going to be, I'm going to do that because maybe it's just my body. You have to listen to your body and your
Yes.
mind, and it's telling you that you need to take it step back and just relax.
Yes.
So,
And, it can be, instead of the whole day, it's just moments, because people
oh
are
yeah,
like, oh, it was a bad day. Like, screw the rest of the day. Like, it's
yes,
done. It's like,
yep.
no, we just had a hard moment. We just had a tough moment.
Well,
Like, not a
funny you
bad
said
day.
that
There's no
because my
bad days.
parents, yeah, my parents yesterday, you know, they were like, there was like one thing after another like happening, but it was like, it wasn't even like 1:30 yet p.m. And they were like, wow, this is just such a bad day. And I'm like looking at them, I was like, well, I said, it's not, the day's not over. I said, you had bad moments of the day, you know, but that doesn't mean that the rest of your day can't be good. So like, I'm
Totally.
trying to, you know, they're very like, they're like a little negative people. So I try to like boost them up and they're just like, yeah.
I
So cute.
One of my favorite authors is Gabby Bernstein, and her book "The Universe Has Your Back" was very transformative for me. And one of the parts is that we can't tell someone about the light; we can only be the light.
Mm.
And so, a girlfriend of mine, actually, it was a really pivotal moment for her. She's going through a very tough divorce, got really, really ugly, and they have a child, and she was saying, like, gosh, every time I see him, I'm trying to show him that, I'm not going to talk bad about him to our kid. Like, I'm trying to show him all these things. And I told her, I said, then who are you doing it for? Instead, why not just be that you are going to step into, I'm not someone that speaks ill of my child's son or my child's father.
Yeah.
I am someone that loves and appreciates the fact that, he's got a father and that they've got this experience or this relationship, and that I'm going to nourish that, not for myself, not to show him, but to do it for our son and for the bigger picture.
Right,
Like, for
exactly.
her to be able to frame it in that way, she was like, oh my gosh, my entire motivation was to prove to him that I was better, that I was
Wow.
better than him because he was being bad. So I'm being better. So the whole motivation was to be better. And I was like, why not just have your motivation to that becomes who you are, that you are a person that looks at big picture. You are a person that doesn't judge.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wayne Dyer said this, when we change the way that we see things, the things that we see change. When we change the way we look at people, completely shift it, they change. They respond differently, even if it's just internally. If every time, perfect example is me and Sean, who we were together when the accident happened. We'd been dating 6 months. We didn't get married. He's the father of my son. Like, got married, all the things. Yet, I never said this out loud. And here's the kicker: I never said this out loud, but internally, I was blaming him for the accident. It was a total accident. It was a fluke accident. And in fact, when you go back and relive the experience, he was trying to keep me safe. We were on four-wheelers, and he had gone actually on up ahead. Him and the other guy had gone up ahead to see if the trail was safe. I mean, me and the other girl stayed behind. And the other boyfriend was on top of the hill saying, come up, come up. And we didn't know that Sean was coming down to let us know that we were safe. So I started going on up. We came around the bend. I freaked. I jerked the handlebars, went off the trail, and flipped over, broke my back instantly. When I look back and when I think of that instance, I remember clearly seeing his face, freaking out. I jerked the wheels, but then I looked back at him, and he's completely thrown himself aside to the side. So if I would have gone straight, I would have been fine. He did everything in his power to keep me safe. He went on up ahead. He checked for safety. He got out of the way. Like, he did all the things. He put me on the four-wheeler that was bigger, more sturdier. Like, he did all the steps. And yet it still resulted in this tragedy. For 7 years, anytime anything went wrong that was related to my disability, I couldn't reach something, my wheelchair broke down, I had like a bladder accident, like all those stupid things. Internally, first thing that went through my head was, well, if you hadn't put me in this stupid chair, every single time. Never said it to his face, not once.
But you thought it all the time.
Always thought it.
Yeah.
Always thought it. And I realized that. I had this moment of like, whoa, like I went to a Tony Robbins event, had this entire experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have been blaming him internally, and therefore I treat him differently, and therefore he responds differently. Like it's this like domino effect, right?
Right.
So I had this epiphany, and there's a beautiful Hawaiian practice called Ho'oponopono. And it's, have you heard of it?
Oh, can you say that again? Because that's beautiful.
Yes, it's called Ho'oponopono.
Pono Pono. Wow.
The pono is, it's such a hard one to put into words, but it's like doing the right thing, but not like to be right. It's like for the greater good. It is the right, the true thing, okay?
I love that.
And then ho'o is to make. So the translation is to make right. And what you're doing is you're actually completely taking, this is gorgeous, you're just going to change your life.
I'm so invested in this.
It's so good. It's so good. And the revision process on week 2, we went through this, and it was gorgeous.
Okay, yeah, I'm going back to
So
yes.
you got to watch it, girl. You got to watch
I
it. And anyone
promise.
logging in, it's free. Like, get all the things. Get on
Welcome to the new
verticalblonde.com, sign
people,
up.
by the way. Hi, Steve.
Hello, new people. I'm so glad you guys are invested. So Ho'oponopono is to make it right. Mm-hmm. And it's a process in which you are actually taking 100% responsibility for your reality. Mm-hmm. Not that it's your fault. It's very different. Right. It's not your fault. It's your responsibility because it's your reality. So, perfect example, cup of coffee. To someone that is like utterly healthy, a cup of coffee is a cup of death, right? A person that survives on 6 cups a day, a cup of coffee is a cup of life. Okay? You got the difference? That's totally your reality. Okay? So the Ho'oponopono is taking responsibility for your reality. It's taking responsibility for the fact that I have blame, I have resentment, I have judgment. I'm leading from any other place than love and acceptance.
Right. Yeah.
So you go through, it's only 4 lines, and it will radically change your life. 4 lines. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll do it again. Think of something that you may be harboring resentment towards. All of you that are online right now, I hope you'll do this as well. Close your eyes and think of this person, thing, whatever that you are holding a judgment or a responsibility towards. Something that has hurt you in some way that you just can't quite shake. Within you, there's a lack of forgiveness. Within you, there is judgment. There's blame. There is an overall sense of just ickiness that you can't shake. And now to this person, thing, God, whoever you're blaming, you're going to say, I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you go through it a few times. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you go through this and you say it over and over, you're actually going to kind of go on this journey. And if you really get kind of enveloped in it, you close your eyes, there's something that happens where it shifts and you start to shift and you realize that it looks different and it feels different and it is different. Mm-hmm. I found this with Sean. I did this internally, and then I went to him one day. I was laying on the couch just watching like Dateline or something. And I went up next to him and I held his hand. And I said, I need to tell you something. I've been blaming you for what happened. Internally, it hasn't been pretty. And it's been really judgmental and resentful. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And he looks at me, he's like, okay, what is happening? We're just watching Dateline. What's going on? And I said, no, you need to know this. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And his body starts to kind of shift. And I say it again. Mm-hmm. And it starts to soften a little bit. And then I hug him. And I keep saying it in his ear. And I'm just like pressing my heart to his heart. And I keep saying it more. I'm crying. I say it more. And his body becomes jello. And he just loses it. And he says, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that. When we change the way we see things, the things we see change. It wasn't a one and done. There were still times that I went to my old ways. I still do. And every time, it's just an internal, I love you. So sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And the great thing about this is that you don't even have to physically do it to them out loud. You can do it within yourself because that's really where it all is. It's all internally. You're deleting in you the filters that's making you see them in that way. So it's a Dr. Ihialiakala Hugh Len. Say that 3 times. I've done so much research on Ho'oponopono. It's gorgeous. And that his belief in it is that it's bringing you down to zero data. So you're seeing them through zero data. You're seeing them as someone that is whole, worthy of love, acceptance, all the things. You're seeing them with no filter. So he calls it data. I like to call it filters because Instagram.
That's nice.
I don't know.
I like that
one.
Yeah,
it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you know that when you're looking at someone through a filter, you're looking at someone who they really are. So I hope that that's offered a sense of beauty and joy to people watching. And I really
definitely did for me.
I'm so happy.
Yes. Because I'm actually going to share who that person I'm telling, because I feel like my page is all about being brave, and that is what I'm doing. I said that to myself. Oh. Because I really need it. And, you know, I've never heard of, like, I don't know how to say it again.
Ho'o?
Ho'o?
Ho'o. So it's H-O apostrophe O. So you say both O's. Ho'o?
Ho-ho?
Uh-huh. Pono.
Pono.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to write it in the comments. You keep talking because this is gorgeous.
Yeah. So I've done the whole, you know, I said I'm sorry to myself, and I said, like, I forgive you. Like, I have done that. I just never knew really. I've never done it in that order, and I've never done it that powerful.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've done it, like, maybe, like, a couple times. Like, I'll just say, like, oh, I'm sorry. I did that to you. Or I'll, like, write it down or something. But I never said in that order. And, like I said, in that many times. So, like, when you do that, it definitely, the more you say it and the more calmer you say it to yourself, it's very, like, it gives you a sense of peace.
Yes.
And it's very powerful.
Oh, I love that you felt that.
I did.
I've gotten to do it one-on-one with a few people to take them through a journey. There was one girl who she had been blaming herself for not protecting her sister from being abused as a child. And they're both children, and they'd taken it that it was their fault. And we took her through this where she did it towards her sister. And it started like calm, and then it got like, I mean, she was just like screaming it, just bawling. And then you could see, like, you get on the other side of it, and it's like, you can like actually take these full breaths, and it rocks your world. I mean, it is so powerful to actually take someone on that journey where you see they're shifting. It's mind-blowing.
Wow. Zeke, thank you. We love you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
do
for
love
joining.
you, Zeke.
I hope she's still on to hear that. Wow. I just, like I said, so Sarah and I were talking before, just, a little few-minute intro, because I actually never met Sarah. We just recently connected, and, I don't really know too much of your story, and, I just see, like, just posts you put up, and I really, like, that is why I wanted you to come on with me, because, as I was telling you before, I've been doing a lot of lives for adoption, and then I was like, why can't I do other one? Like, I think it's just, like, any story that has inspiration and bravery, I think should be shared. And it, it's not all about adoptees. So that's why I like thought your story was beautiful, and you had so much to offer to people, and you definitely offered a lot to me tonight.
Thank you
and
so
I literally cannot wait to do that workshop, because just in like a few minutes, like talking, I feel in so much peace. I guarantee you, after hearing that, I might be a whole new woman.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. Wow. Does anybody have any questions for Sarah?
Yes. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry. I've been so invested hearing Sarah's beautiful words that I just ignored every new person.
I think we're good. I don't see.
Katie, welcome. Everyone who recently joined that I didn't say hi to, welcome. Thank you for joining. Yeah, if there's any questions for Sarah, please comment below.
I'm so honored. This revision experience, I pushed it out really quickly because it was coming up on the end of the year, and I was like, oh, I'm going to miss my window. Like, 2020 vision, everything in hindsight is always 2020. And I was like, yeah, it's got the creative name. I got to hurry and put it out there. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel like it's been just really powerful, not only for the people that have done it, but also for me. It has re-energized me and really confirmed that I'm in the right place. And so it's been really, honestly, I feel like it's such a gift that I get to share it, because that's my element. And so I just am hoping to help people find their own elements of what lights them up, and what is their stage of life that they're supposed to be on, what are they supposed to be doing. And a lot of our sense of purpose comes from our pain. It sounds like with your journey, totally. And so our pain can be so beautiful when it has a sense of purpose attached to it. And just as it's important to set a vision of where you're going, it's so vital that we go back to our past and revision it the way that is empowering to us. Because the thing, like we were talking, the thing that is so paralyzing to people is, we got to do it right. We got to do it perfect. We got to do it now. The perfection, like we're talking, we're chronically perfectionists here. And it is so paralyzing. I had so many women, and it sounded like you agreed on this, that they were like, I wanted to do your course, but I knew that if I couldn't do it all and do it all perfectly, that I didn't want to do it at all. Right. And how much of life are we missing out on because we're setting that standard for ourselves? Exactly. And it's the ultimate failure, because there is no perfect. No. None. Nope. So why not, if something is calling to you, do it. If it calls to you even more, feel like you're in the right place, go all in. But like, why can't we tiptoe into more places and see if it's a good fit than sitting there saying, well, I'm not going to do it if I can't do it perfectly. And I think that we, without even saying anything, can really instill that to our kids. I know my son, he's contracted the perfectionism. Your son is adorable. Me cute. I've seen him on your stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so freaking funny. That kid, he is hysterical. He cracks me up. I don't even know. I'm like, where did you get that? He makes me laugh so hard.
I want to go back to you saying you were talking about it's a gift. I just want to say you are also the gift.
Oh, you are so sweet.
You really are, because you are giving everybody a gift of your inspiration and of your motivation, your leadership, and it's beautiful what you're doing, and I just love how far just talking to you, and I know your journey was definitely not easy, and just seems like how far you've come. It's just so it's like satisfying in the end. Like, it's rewarding to see that you turned your pain into purpose.
Totally. If you feel like there was reason behind that. And what's up, Robin? What's up, Michaela? Oh my gosh, I just talked to Robin this morning. She filled my whole heart this morning. It feels really good to know that you've got that sense of purpose. And I think that it's just so good for all of us to be reminded of, like, don't keep your gifts inside. Like, the world needs you.
You have so much to offer. People don't see that, and that's the part of self-confidence, is they don't realize we have so much to offer in this world and to ourselves. But we just have to, I always say, like, get out of your comfort zone.
Totally.
And see what you can do.
Absolutely. It's, I think about all the time that I spent trying to make things perfect before I would do them, and how much time was, I hate saying the word wasted, but it could have been spent better, right? So, but then once again, our pain is our biggest fueler. Like, our pain it's what pushes us, and we need that pain. We need it to push us to the next level. Like, we need a pull motivation and we need a push motivation. And so if we've got both, we've got a sense of purpose and vision and direction, and we've got the pain pushing us along the way, like, baby, it's go time. Like, holy crap. Like, you're unstoppable. And so that's why you hear so many different people, like, find your why, find your why. What they're really telling you to do is find your pull motivation. Find the thing that's going to pull you up out of bed. But then also really recognize what you can use to push you. Instead of having it push you down, let it push you forward, let it push you up.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So much inspiration tonight. I loved this conversation.
This was a good one. This was a really good one. I'm real happy. This has been fun.
I love it. Wow. Well, as we're wrapping up, is there anything you want to, any words of wisdom, advice, inspiration you want to just leave people with?
Just I'll leave you with my favorite prayer. Whether you are spiritual or not, it's pray to whoever you feel is up there watching over you. And it's simple, and I say it day by day. I say it minute to minute. I say it sometimes like 20 times a day. And it's super simple, and it completely flips the script for me on how I'm viewing my struggles, right? Like, the whole idea for this live today was to really shift your view of how you view struggle. And so the prayer is simply this: Dear God, dear universe, whoever, okay? Dear God, thank you for the seemingly good and the seemingly bad, for in this moment, I do not know the difference. I have no idea what's good, what's bad. Okay, that's the beauty of 2020 hindsight vision. That day on the mountain felt like the biggest tragedy of my life. If I could only go back and say, don't you worry, girl. Like, this is going to be a really beautiful life because of what's happening right now. We never know if things are good or bad. That's why I love to use the word seemingly. And in the beginning of 2020 vision, I started with one question. What is your seemingly disabling circumstance? What is disabling you right now? And then we're going to flip it in a way that it's your seemingly disabling factor. To remind yourself, like, nothing is quite what it seems.
No.
So there is still time to sign up for 2020 revision. And you can watch tomorrow with me live. You can do this live workshop. I'm really sorry, boys. This has been a place for the ladies. So I'm sorry. I'm really speaking into the ladies' hearts on this. So boys, I'm sure I'll do something for you in the future. But right now it's ladies or those who identify as women. And the 2020 revision We'll do our last week tomorrow. You can still watch the replays. So you can just go to verticalblonde.com, and under the workshop section, you can see 2020 revision. You can get the link and all the good stuff. It's all right there. And then iConfidence, which we talked about in the beginning, is a course in confidence. It's a course in trusting that voice from within that knows what to do. It's trust in our gut and actually being able to take action, strengthening the skill of confidence. And that begins January 13th. I have a limited number of seats left. They're actually going very quickly. And so I'm keeping it small and intimate. It's a group coaching where we'll do like actual work each week for 6 weeks long. So those are the two things. I just really love to let people know what I'm up to. And of course, Disability Icon Fitness. If you are a seated wheelchair user, or just sitting at your desk watching Zoom calls all day long, this is Seated Fitness. So you can also join that. Everything's on verticalblonde.com.
Nice. And I will be going to that link after we talk.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I hope to see you there. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Bring all your friends. Come on, everybody.
Will.
It's always more fun when you do things with friends.
Oh, for sure. It's more motivating, too, when you're doing it as a group.
Yeah.
So.
I've got a few girls here locally that they all get together at one house, and they've been doing it, even though they each sit at their own computer around the table so I can see their faces. But they're all doing it together, and it's just been really cool.
That's funny. Well, it's like my cousin and I, like when we went to the gym, even though we didn't like stay next to each other the whole time, like she was like, I was on the treadmill and she was like all the way back by like, the other room. We were just, it's just the fact that you were with somebody.
Yeah.
Like if I was just by myself, I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Totally.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a killer. Loneliness. Oh
gosh.
We feel like we're doing things alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the love and support you've given Sarah and myself, and for everyone who came late or couldn't join tonight. I will be saving the live on my feed, so go back anytime and watch it. I really highly recommend you do. Sarah, thank you so much again for coming on with me. It's been such a delight to have you.
Thank you so much.
You are a beautiful soul, like inside and out. You were so beautiful, and I love talking to you. So.
Oh, you as well. Thank you so much. This has been an honor. Keep doing what you're doing. The world needs a lot more brave women. So
yes,
we are stronger together.
Be brave with us and go follow Vertical Blonde.
Yeah, baby. Let's go play.
All right, everyone. Have a nice night. Sarah, bye.
Aloha. See you later.
Aloha.